Hello, my name is Papageorgiou. Thank you for inviting me to Tech Talk. I'm an operating executive and a serial entrepreneur and the founder and managing partner of Ideasphere Partners and the co-founder and CEO of International Screening Solutions. The focus of my Tech Talk is also one of my favorite subjects, profit or growth. Which should I focus on and how to manage the challenges that come from that decision? Profit or growth presents itself as an either-or problem, and it doesn't have to be so. That's why the subtitle of the talk is Profit or Growth, a Fool's Choice. It is unfortunate that many entrepreneurs view it as an either-or situation and choose one over the other as the focus, which then sets them up for limits and eventual disappointment. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. The message from my talk is that the decision is not about choosing between profit or growth, but rather about choosing and developing the best management strategy to support profit and growth. Or as a good friend of mine says, you can have your cake and eat it too, just not at the same time. The process for managing for both profit and growth falls under a set of management problems called polarities, seemingly opposing strategies that when managing the right framework can actually be supportive of each other rather than competing with each other. I explain some of the basic concepts behind polarities and their management and make it easier to see that a polarity such as growth versus profit do not have the right answer or a permanent and binary solution and don't require you to choose between them as a permanent framework. I show that once you decide on a starting point, profit or growth, it's important to develop a well-thought-out framework on how to keep shifting your focus between the two of them by adjusting your operating and other strategies, and I share approaches to developing those strategies. I also share examples from my work with many companies on how to manage the profit growth polarity and help the audience decide what and how they can do for their companies. The first thing to recognize is that you're being put in a position of making a fool's choice. So I share some clues to help you recognize if you're in that situation. This is an important decision. The start with growth strategy can result in requirements for a large capital infusion up front and therefore may dilute the founder's equity position. Other founders decide to start from profit and then shift to growth, keeping the initial funding requirements lower and preserving their equity, but at the same time, prolonging the time it takes them to reach significant size. There is no right answer that works for everyone, just the right answer that works for you. Now, once you make that decision, the next thing is the process by which you'll manage the shift. And I talk about the mechanism requires to be put in place to make it smooth and have a better long-term outcome. And finally, once you have a shift strategy, you must decide what the trigger points, timing, and indicators will be that you will use to determine the shift in strategy from profit to growth and then back again. Managing profit and growth is one of those challenges entrepreneurs face all the time, and that's what my Tech Talk is all about. Thank you for joining us for Tech Talk.